All right, I'm Pat.
Hey, I'm Jeffrey. Are these Christmas parties that have uh do they have certain like white elephants or
One of them has gift
components?
exchange, but it's
Yes.
completely voluntary.
Are
So,
you volunteering?
no.
All right.
Yeah, I'll eat the food and then we'll leave. So, the
I, I don't know how you can do that with intimate people. Um and give me grief for walking out of like a 2,000 person graduation early.
dude, like half the people there do that. If you did that at a 2,000 person graduation, you would be the one person
No,
who did that.
nobody would notice.
Yeah, they would. Okay, let me tell you, like, depending on where it was. So, like, if it was at the arena where I did my graduation
Uh-huh.
last, um, you got like 10,000 eyeballs on you, man. It's not like you
You're
walk
looking
through.
at the kids.
It's not like you walk through a tunnel and then you just happen to not come out the other side, you know.
Dude,
So
okay, so we're talking from the stands. We're talking about in the audience attending, right? The eyeballs are going to be number one on the performance.
they're gonna totally get you,
Number
man.
two, there's
Yeah.
no distinction that they're going to be able to say like that guy's leaving versus that guy's going to the restroom.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I've been to a lot of graduations. I've never seen somebody do it. So
I've seen tons of people leave everything.
I have not seen someone leave a college graduation like where they just like got their diploma and then walked right out the exit. I've
I
never
mean,
seen
that's
that.
got their diploma. I'm talking about being from the stand, from the
from the-
audience. Yes.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, the audience.
No,
Like
you're
if
talking about being on the floor and doing that.
I would do that, but I'll tell no. The whole thing was about being in the audience. Is when my kid's done, I leave.
Oh yeah, people do that all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, people do that all the time.
Yeah, they're not going to notice me. Like I said, they can't tell that I'm going to the bathroom.
Well,
or
so
not.
what I notice they'll do is they might leave the stands, but then they'll be waiting for them outside. So
That can happen too.
Yeah, I've seen that, and then because they want to get them, and then of course it's the thing like all American events. It's like, oh, the parking's gonna suck.
That's correct. Yes.
You know? So, dude, I got lost like leaving my graduation. So because they were diverting traffic all over the place down by the arena. Down
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And I got like directed into some neighborhood that was full of blackjack and hookers. You know? So,
If they spin you around like all
Yeah.
the way, yeah,
Yeah.
like you don't want to go. Like there's this weird kind of like that street like goes almost in like a wheel, and
yeah,
like,
it does.
if you end up on the circle that's on the dark side of the moon,
After you
that's-
go under the interstate, yes. Yeah.
there are like toughs just waiting for you,
Street
ready to tell you that this is the wrong neighborhood and you don't belong here.
I did not belong there.
Yeah, because there's a couple of things there. Like if you split off on that weird semicircle, you can get to like restaurants and other cool shit go that way. Home comes this way, and there's like another branch somewhere there, and then just the backside where you're like, people live here, and it's Mordor. Damn, girl, you live like this?
You live like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. Yes, I would walk out after getting my slip, but
See that I've
I
never
didn't
seen
even
somebody
attend.
do.
I didn't even
no,
attend.
you didn't even
Yeah.
go. Yeah. But I mean families they leave all the time. So all
Totally
the time.
normal. Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna fight you on that, man.
You did.
I thought you were talking about you getting your diploma and then walking
would
right the
also
fuck
do-
up. See, that's fucked up.
No, the whole thing. This is where the great misconception. The whole. No, it was. Will had a big problem with it, even just from attendance, from being in the stand.
I thought, yeah, I mean, I have a problem with that, but I mean, at the same point in time, I'm not going to like chase you down. Hey, get back in your seat, sir. You know, kind of thing. I mean,
You
I
don't
don't
care.
think it's that big.
No,
of a
you
deal.
don't care.
No, but like if you were a student and did that in your cap and gown and everything, I've never seen a student do that.
Yeah, student. I don't know.
I've never seen one do that. So I've been to a lot of these things too, man.
I can't tell you if I recall. I mean, like I said, I may have seen like one kid like get up and like go to the restroom and come back.
I've seen,
But even then,
I've seen that.
I mean, that barely happened. You know, the ones that I attended. So
No, not really. Well, they're usually pretty short. So
sometimes
I've been to a couple.
isolated.
They've gotten way better than they used to be. I'll give them that. Like the last one that I went to, I think it was maybe an hour.
That's
So,
fantastic.
yeah.
Man, they were stretching those things out there for a while. I'm like, when they started getting with the program and being like, all right, guys, just applaud at the end.
Yeah, I've been to one that was like that. Who I think that was when my father-in-law graduated from DU. They were like really strict about it too.
They
So
have like ushers and
no, they just kept reminding you. Said, save, we'll have the grad stand at the end. Save your applause, kind of thing. Yeah. That one was in an arena. The shortest one I think I ever went to was when my wife graduated from law school because it was just her law school class.
Oh, so
It was like 30 people.
I would say,
Yeah. And I mean, there were like thousands of people there. It was weird. It was like, this doesn't make sense. So, because I've been to some of mine at my university that are pretty fucking sparse. I mean, granted, it's a big arena, so but still, that one was kind of weird. Actually, you know what? Hers might have been all the graduate students. You know what? I think it was. It was all the graduate students. Yeah. So it was really fast. So, I can't remember who spoke at that one. I know when my father-in-law graduated, Condoleezza Rice spoke at his.
I have been the one where that happened. I attended my mother's graduation when I was like in 4th grade.
Oh, okay.
And that one was over pretty quick, and it was in a church or something. It was a small building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I worked at that first shit college, we used to do ours at a church.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It was pretty wild. But I didn't really know what was going on anyway.
Not when you're in 4th grade.
Mm-mm.
And that was way before they had like class graduations, like kindergarten graduation and stuff. They have all that shit now.
We had one graduation at the end at like 6th grade.
We did not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think Will and I did. That was a new thing. So.
Wait a second. Were you guys the last? No.
Oh yeah, we were. Yeah, they changed
No
in
way.
5th grade after that.
Well, no, because I went through all the way to 6th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
I went through all the way to 6th, but they, like, I think you got into Sabin when they started, like, monkeying around with...
You were monkeying around with everything, man. So the schedule, because we went into block schedule,
Yeah.
and then we went into a quarter system, and then we went into, what was it? Well, at the end, that's when 9th grade transferred over to high school.
Right.
Yeah.
You did do the full 3 years over at Sabin, didn't you?
Yeah, but I only got 3 years of Doherty.
Oh,
so,
right.
yeah, where most people now, everybody now gets 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, I was happy to only do 7th and 8th at Sabin.
I actually went to the old ship 2 weeks ago.
That's right. What were you there for?
Oh, my daughter she was in a play.
That's right. Yeah.
She wasn't actually in the play. She was like crew. So all I had to do was drop her off. But then when I went and picked her up, I actually went in for a bit. So, just take a look and see. And it's the same.
It's the same.
It's the same, bro. The lockers are way smaller than I remember them being.
Tiny. Yes, they're tiny lockers. Well, we are also bigger. But I mean, the other component is it's the same. There's an addition. It looks...
It was weird.
Stapled on.
Stapled
It's not even... They didn't even like paint it to match the building.
No, and all the glass is still on the inside. It's weird, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. That area is actually, very nice. But yeah, it looks like a different building. It looks like it's zoned for a different purpose. And
It's like it's known for prison.
like the first floor is like a Subaru, and then it's apartments.
It's immense. Yeah.
And somewhere on the 4th floor, you do some math and shit.
Right.
Yeah, it's
a radio station.
yeah, dude, it's weird looking. It's a Frankenstein building for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you don't notice that. I mean, unless you drive right by it, which I don't. And then I just went in the side, and the sides they're the same,
Exactly
the same. You know, and then
as to the back, it's
getting into the HP, I was kind of like, what the fuck? Oh yeah, there's another building stapled on the front of this thing now. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
But yeah, it's everything else is as you left it.
Very much so as you left it.
Yep.
So it's even still got the same lunchroom tables. So
Those, I mean, I think they're rated for like 75 years. And
but a surplus from the Navy.
yeah. I mean, I think they're like earthquake rated for like
a millennia. Yeah. An 8.5.
I mean, they bought them the first year that they were asbestos free, so I think that I think they're good.
Right.
I remember this is some shit. Do you remember were you at when we got the extra week off because they actually did asbestos removal from the school?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay, so that might have been my 5th or 6th grade year, but we got an extra week off.
What, the school up here?
Yeah.
Oh no, I never got that.
Yeah.
They had to asbestos.
Yeah, we got like an extra week off just out of like nowhere. And it wasn't like they told us like 2 days before. They knew like a couple of months. But yeah, I paid it no attention. I didn't even think about it until now.
Yeah.
But now in hindsight, I'm like, oh.
Ugh.
Well, I mean, like I can't judge. Like fucking hundreds of buildings.
Oh, that one's not even the worst, I guarantee. That one's not that old. So
It's not.
no, it was built in the 70s. So, you know.
Well, that would have been like the last time that they were building with that shit.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they hadn't built a new school in D11. Well, like the two that my daughter went to were the newest ones. And they were probably only like maybe 5 to 10 years after our school was built. You go downtown, there's schools that, I mean, like the elementary school that my wife went to, it doesn't exist anymore. They bulldozed it.
Which one was that?
Oh, it was up on the hill by the college. I don't remember the name of it. Behind that church there, on Austin Bluffs, where right almost at the top of the hill, where they built those weird 5/1 apartments for all the rich kids at UCCS. So
does it say the word West on it or something?
yeah, it does. Yeah. So anyway, she went to elementary school there. They bulldozed that one probably like 10 years ago. There's 2 of them downtown that have disappeared. The one in fucking old Colorado City is still there. I interviewed at that place once. That school was ancient, dude. You could
Really?
Oh, bro, you could tell that it had like, you know, freaking tuberculosis patients in it or something at one point in time.
Really?
Yeah, it was old.
How big was this building?
It wasn't that big, but it was old school because it was multi-story. So, in multi-story elementary
For
school,
elementary school?
that's
wild.
I know you don't see those in this town that much.
In this town or anywhere. I mean, I feel like the last ones you find are probably on the fucking East Coast somewhere.
Oh yeah, Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that one's still there. There's a couple others that they've closed that are down in that area though. So, because I mean the district's just been shrinking. It's got no kids. So yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Well, they all live out in Williams White People neighborhood. So
Yeah. Well, okay, so be it. I mean, that's how the demographics go. It's. I mean, well, it's sort of odd because you'd think that it's not as though we're zoned for. You know, what's the double green building? The heavy.
oh yeah, dense residential.
Yeah, it's not like we have any of that shit going on over here. It's still just families.
we got quite a bit, man.
We got some, but it's not.
There's more than there used to be. I'll tell you
Well,
that.
because there was none.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because they've got, like, up here on Stetson, there's all these apartments now and townhomes. So,
I thought those were for old people.
no, the ones over here behind, like, where.
Oh, on Tut?
Those are for old people.
Yeah. And those aren't the same ones?
No, there's more of them up there. So.
Oh, those are regular people houses.
Yeah, up on Stetson, yeah.
Oh, they're colored so badly. I thought they were, you know, for
Oh, you mean the red ones?
Yeah.
I had a student who lived in those, and they were gorgeous on the inside. So
Am I wrong in thinking they look like crap on the color?
They're
I like the
supposed to-
design.
Yeah,
but
it's edgy modern art, modern fart class stuff. So I get it, but I had a student who lived in those, and I was like, man, those ugly red ones. He's like, yeah, they're nice on the inside, though. He showed me a couple pictures. He was right, man.
all right, that's
So,
cool.
yeah.
All right, I'm mistaken,
They're
but
not cheap. So
because here's the thing: is I used to watch them being built,
Uh-huh.
and so I saw them before they added that god awful color scheme
Right.
to it. Yeah, and I don't.
they're gonna build even more.
There's a lot of things I think where the final decision is just like the dude's, goddamn Berkeley daughter. It's like, what are you colors? Like, well, I haven't done this yet, and
I like
what
the color Mojave.
I was Mojave, and I put it up against passion fruit.
Right. That's some great accents. It's just brushed aluminum only.
So you haven't been out of my house this long. Why do you talk like this? What have they done to you? Yeah. Well, it's sort of like I don't know what to ask you. The little hubbub, and I wouldn't consider this a big hubbub. People made it a big deal, but did you see the new advertising line and design for the Jaguars?
No.
Boy, they went with something really off the wall.
Really?
Yeah, and so the first thing was before they revealed the cars, which are take Cybertrucks but make them Jaguars and uglier. And I know that, hear me out, because that's kind of what they look like. But the actual commercials are sort of weird, diverse people just coming out of an elevator and looking in weird directions.
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay, it's utterly bizarre. It seemed okay, so it's caught a lot of ridicule. They stood by it, but it just seems stupid for Jaguar, because I'm like, so you're a luxury brand. I mean, you do have lower priced models, but you are historically a luxury brand. So it's a niche market to begin with.
It is.
And you're carving up your niche market by at least 50%. I'm like, I don't get what you guys are doing, but
well, I don't know. So my brother owns the EV Jaguar.
Well, that was from like 5 years ago, though, right?
Well, I think it was like 5. He still has it. He got a letter from the other day. They are reclaiming his car. So no, not reclaiming. It's called reacquirement. So there's not like a recall.
Is there something wrong with it?
Yeah, apparently the battery in it burns down your fucking house if it starts on fire. So
is it a straight up buyback, or
it's a straight up forced buyback. So yeah.
Oh
yeah. So he's not too happy with Jaguar right now.
I don't think he'd like the new cars they're putting out right now either.
He was already looking at new stuff, man, and he's moving on to different brands already. There was like an EV Nissan that he was looking at that he really liked.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, that's the thing with the electric cars, man. I mean, they all have the same kind of battery in it. And so,
Mine's fine.
Huh?
Mine's hybrid, though.
Yours is hybrid. Your battery's much smaller. So, I mean, like Ryan's car is basically battery with wheels.
Right.
So, yeah, but apparently a couple of them have spontaneously combusted while on the charger, and there's no way to put out that fire without submerging the battery.
It's a different kind of fire. I don't know why they make them with so much animal fat, but I mean,
right?
Like, don't throw water. Put a lid on it, or put the little blanket on it. Yeah.
Right. Just made out of rendered squirrels.
We got tons of them.
We got tons of them.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. So yeah, and I saw they stopped production on the Cybertruck. So
They did?
They did. So, and they didn't really say why. So,
well, I know that California, in retaliation, I don't know how they're going to justify this, but they're saying that they are taking away the EV credit just for Teslas and leaving it for the other models.
Oh, that's lame.
I don't know how you can get away with that.
Well, your legislatures, you can write what you want. So
I don't know if you can single out a specific company.
I don't know either. It sounds like something the California state legislature would try and do. So
You know what? I hope they get sued for it. I hope he gets sued. And
man, what is going on with Musk anyway? There was something where he was getting jacked out of a whole bunch of money from Tesla.
Yeah, here's the story. Is it, you didn't hear this one?
Well, I did hear a little bit about it, but I honestly wasn't invested enough to read the whole article. So, because quite honestly, if you find anything about Elon Musk, it's either 100% he's like fucking Tony Stark, God amongst men, or he's like some kind of fucking Hitler-esque. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it's really hard to get like a real decent straight story on that guy. So,
well, all right. So here's my understanding of it is, so he's incorporated in Delaware, like
everybody,
right?
Yeah.
What happened was they twice the Tesla shareholders have voted to basically pay him out a certain amount.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what's happened is a Delaware judge has overruled that.
Okay.
I don't know how he can do this.
Well, you don't know her basis for doing that?
I didn't understand the basis. I saw the sentence, but I'm like, I don't understand how this supersedes what the shareholders have voted for.
I don't know.
I presume this is going to be appealed, but I mean, this is something that twice they've held that vote for, and they've blocked it.
Okay, but it's in Delaware.
It's in Delaware.
Okay, all right.
So I don't know. Again,
I didn't know if that was California shenanigans or not. So.
No, it's Delaware, and you know why. Yeah.
Well, everybody's incorporated in Delaware, so.
And the truth is, this is an incredibly activist lawyer, so, I mean...
Judge or?
Yeah, judge.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, they get overruled, so...
I hope so. I know that's something that the Supreme Court is looking at right now. The Tennessee...
I don't know anything about that, man. I don't know how that got to the Supreme Court that fast. I
don't know either.
Yeah, so it's a couple of the shows that I pay attention to, they were talking about that today. I was like, whatever.
And of course, the two stupidest people said the two stupidest things.
Who are they?
Who do you think?
I don't know.
Okay, so you got the new one, who basically compared disallowing puberty transitions to banning interracial marriage.
Who said that?
Katani Jones.
Who is that?
That's the newest one. The
Newest
black one, the Supreme Court judge.
Jackson.
Brown. Yes. Yeah.
Katani Jackson Brown.
Jackson Brown, yes. Yeah.
It's just...
What did I say, Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Sounds like somebody who plays for the Jets, but yeah.
Wait a minute, they haven't ruled on it yet?
No, they were hearing the arguments.
So that was just a question she asked.
No, that's a statement that she made.
Well, they can do that too.
Yes.
Yeah, they do
Fucking
that.
stupid. Absolutely ridiculous.
I'm surprised they had reporters in the court. So, for that one.
I don't know.
But sometimes they kick them out, man. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Fucking just absolutely ridiculous. You guys are so fucking stupid. It's just like you are clearly following your ideology and not what's being said. I mean, that's the
I don't know that much about her.
Asinine.
There wasn't that much on the Supreme Court this year to actually really catch my attention, so I haven't been really paying attention. So
we had some big stuff the past few years. So
the last couple of years, and so this year seemed kind of chill. So they do the two sessions. They do the one now and right up to Christmas where they hear shit and they rule on it in like February, and then the next batch is in the summer, and usually the big ones are during the summer. So. I don't remember what was going on this last summer that was important. I mean, they had the thing where they struck down parts of the Donald Trump stuff. I can't remember.
Those were the rulings on immunity.
That's right. They did the immunity one.
There was something else important in there. But
there was.
I can't remember what it was. it's lost in the shuffle, bro. Pat, we're like 16 hours removed from the CEO of United Health
fucking getting whacked
in the street,
but by like fucking hitman number 31,
who had shit written on his shelf.
Dude, that is not normal. you know, and intentionally left him at the scene of the crime.
This is
That's whack, man.
yeah.
Dude, 2024, I mean, like, I don't know what it is, but the last, like, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 days, dude, it's been feeling like, all right.
What's gonna happen?
Yeah, you got one more, man. You got one more. What's it gonna be?
The one that I thought that was earlier on, there was a 7.0 earthquake.
Oh, yeah, and they did a tsunami warning and, like...
Called it off within, like, 3 hours.
Well, yeah, if it's right off the coast, that makes sense, but...
But 7.0 is huge.
Is it? I don't know.
I thought this would be... When I read that there was an earthquake of that, you know, magnitude, I was like, oh, shit, it's... There's, like...
There goes the Golden Gate.
Yeah.
You know.
But no, it was just this section of California, and
I heard it on the news, and they said it was out at sea. So
yeah,
I was like, okay.
And then they said the tsunami thing. I'm like, oh my god! And then 2 hours later, they're like, it's all clear.
It's all good.
Yeah,
no tsunami.
It's just no tsunami. It's still having 4th of July at the beach.
Yeah. No, there's just something weird. I got a weird bad feeling. So, you know, like walking into a creepy room, you know, it's kind of like, there's something in there.
You know, it's this. If it's something that's going to happen out of, you know, Russia, Ukraine, or you know, who knows?
It might be there. Well, the whole Korea thing, I was going to ask you all about that. What the fuck, man?
Right. So, yeah, talking about the, like...
Was that a real coup?
The 2.5 hours of martial law that happened there. All right. Again, I'm getting the pieces of this as it was presented, right?
Okay.
So, the president is not well liked.
I saw that he had like a 19% approval rating.
And this is before.
Before, yeah.
Right. Now, keep in mind that the South Korean for government, for being part of what we consider to be like the grown-ups table, has had so many problems with government. So many people go to jail. So many things. All right, so he's not too popular, and evidently there is... I don't know, this has got to come out in the next few days, because the dude was not talking about it too much, but something about collusion and infiltration by communists, possibly from the north. This dude went nuts, called, because it's his authority, right, declared martial law. So the military goes out there and heads out to the streets, and they block the Parliament building, right?
Right.
The reason they block the Parliament building is because Parliament is the group that can vote to undo martial law.
Oh.
So
he should have put the military there first, yeah.
So they vote 197.
So they lock him in the building so they can vote.
Oops. Right. So they vote 197 to zip to go ahead and stop doing this. The difference is he says, like, actually, no, the military is still under my control. So, no, I'm not going to stand down. Like 3 hours later, he's like, you know, I'm going to stand down.
Well, the military probably didn't do what he told them to do. So.
Well, they did.
Well, I mean, did they shoot people like Tiananmen style?
No.
Yeah.
It wasn't required.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But, yeah, I guess after that, yeah, a couple hours later, he did. He decided to stand down, and he's facing one of two charges.
Treason.
Punishable by death.
Oh, God.
Yes. So,
do they have the guillotine in Korea? They might.
They might, or it might just be like, okay, so this end's tied to this horse, this end's tied to this horse. We're going to slap them both.
You just throw them in that thing that you throw the cow carcass in.
Yeah. I don't. I'd like to think that thing is quick. I think it's really painful at first, but I think you're done for really fast.
You're not going to be able to count to 10. Yeah.
Right.
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 Maybe not even 5.
So that happened, and I think the full details are yet to be released. Because he was being really like clouded about it at that time, or at least that's when I checked in. I haven't seen details from today because that was like a day ago, and then
That was just yesterday.
yeah,
But it happened like so fast that I was just reading about it today. So
it was if you went to sleep before it happened, it happened, and you were awake from beginning to end.
Right.
Yeah, it just happened in your sleep.
Right.
And the same thing goes, so anything that was coming out of that got completely overshadowed by the fact that some fucking lunatic... And have you seen the footage of the assassination on that?
It's brutal.
Like,
dude, he clears a jam.
Okay, okay, all right. Yeah, so there's no fucking around. There's like, okay, this guy is... Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he might just know how to handle a gun, but
that's what I'm saying.
It's clearly planned, you know, and it's clearly, you know, I mean, and I was following it a little bit, and the cops, like, they have footage of him all over town, you know, and stuff like that, but now they can't find him because he was using a fake ID.
From New Jersey.
From New Jersey.
Took the bus from Atlanta.
Right.
Yeah.
So who knows? He might be a professional hitman. He might be John Q. Public. You no idea, man. So yeah. No idea.
And the reactions to this have been
disgusting. They've been awful, Jeff.
I take it you've seen some of them.
I've seen some of them, and fucking get back to work. You're not getting free healthcare. Fuck off.
Right. Right. Yeah, I just want to say that, they're doing a little bit of grave dancing over there on Blue Sky.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's one of those things where,
people.
like, you know, and at first they misidentified the company. So it's actually a subsidiary of UHC. So, you know, and it's just like, okay. This is what's wrong with the American health system. It's like, actually, this is what's wrong with, like, you know, fucking activism gone a little bit too far, maybe. Okay, maybe this guy has personal beef. Who knows? Okay, we'll find out when we find him. You know, so, or we won't, you know, but the other thing is like, you know, like the healthcare argument was basically dead, you know?
Well, I did see the graph the other day where they do show how much compared to other countries,
a lot.
Americans pay for healthcare.
It's a lot. That's because we develop all the drugs and all the procedures and all the techniques here.
Yeah, I was
so
it doesn't
they just
seem
read
like
our AMA journal and, you know, oh, this is a great idea from the Americans. Here we go. So they don't have to do any of the research.
Right.
So behind it. That's why, like, anybody who's got, like, some kind of fucking off-the-wall weird-ass thing, you know, you try to get to the United States because that's where all the specialists are. So, you know.
Well, it's also why...
and that's what people pay for healthcare.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go around and look at it, if you went to any country, if you went to Canada and say, hey, Canada, so now your healthcare system probably is like 95% paid for by taxes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how about we have all the Canadian companies pay for that instead? Canadians would be like, what?
Why would they do that?
Why would they do that? But that's exactly what we have here. Your company pays at least 2/3 of your coverage.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of wacky. And you know, there's, of course, you and I have discussed this. There's good and bad with it. There's obviously... There's something that's... There's an overhaul coming. Let me put it that way. There's something in there that definitely requires a big look through.
Well, it's coming anyway because the pharmaceuticals. So the insurance groups are the first guys to actually like lose a lot of power on Capitol Hill. So, you know, well, they're not very profitable companies. So, you know, they have like maybe like 1-2% margins. You know, they'll spend a lot of money on legislation, but a lot of it's just to fight off other things.
Yeah.
Not like it was, back in like 2005, where, UHC was basically like, had 1,000, well, how many of them? There's 535 members of Congress, so
Oh, yeah.
probably had about 400 of them payroll,
The good ones.
The good ones, yeah,
A mix of the good ones and the cheap ones.
Yeah, but then the whole Obamacare and McCain voting that down and not getting, Teddy Kennedy's bill through and all that stuff really kind of they blew their wad on all that stuff. So, and so then it was the pharmaceuticals, and the pharmaceuticals are not doing great since fucking COVID. So they really are not. They are not big, powerful companies that people think they are. And so those were your two major lobbies out there that used to fight any kind of healthcare reform. The last one being, of course, doctors and hospitals. So, and none of those guys agree on what should be. Yeah.
Well, they're in a rough spot. I mean,
Kind of.
Like, it's hard for me to side against, hospitals, but I mean, it's weird because, well, I see what goes into them. I see the equipment they have. I see the facilities they have. Like,
Panthy.
you and I know the difference between going to a cheap vet versus a good vet.
They're all good vets now, dude. Like, any hospital is great.
You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah, totally.
I know that the equipment costs money to run. I know that you have to have the staff. I can't.
Jeff, I haven't been to a hospital that was built in the last 15 years that doesn't look like the inside of an art museum.
Exactly.
And if you can afford fucking art, you're doing fine. Okay?
Yeah.
You're doing fine.
They look like an art museum on the inside. They look like a fucking iPod on the outside. I mean, it's
It's
just...
just an iPod with the iPod sheathing.
you look at it, got like rounded corners.
Rounded corners, white, yeah.
It's not like separate windows. It's like one.
Right, yeah, it's one long. Yeah.
You go up to Powers. It's like, that's not a bridge. That's a tram.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, so there's money there, but like Obamacare fixed like the really bad things about the healthcare system. It really did. There's other things that aren't great. So like the exchanges need to be overhauled. They suck. So they did not work out the way that people thought they would.
What exchanges?
Like the silver and the gold plans,
Oh,
Yeah.
that.
The individual purchase.
The shit that I buy. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, but if you work at Walmart, the whole thing used to be, well, if you work at Walmart, you're fucked, kind of thing. They have an amazing health plan.
Shut up.
I know.
That's and it's all pieces too. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want dental? It's like, yeah. It's like, that'll be another $3. You want it? It's like, sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's cheap. So, and even prescriptions, like so many prescriptions have gone generic the last couple of years that like, so, even the few little ones that I have, I pay like fucking $15 a month for them, for
I mean,
my
there is
allergy pills.
there is some shit that you can pay for, but you're right. If it's not the special stuff, and you know what, I gotta tell you, I think that we are actually in for good things will happen in the next, I don't know, whatever the thing is, when basically like Wegovy and Ozempic go generic, and
Yeah, I was seeing something about Ozempic microdosing. No, I don't know what that means.
I don't either. Microdosing is like for
Right, yeah, I thought it was for mushrooms. Yeah. But anyway, I saw something about that. But yeah, no, that'll start to happen, and then we'll have to see what RFK Jr. actually can do with HHS. I don't know.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm
really
curious, man.
Hey, dude, an actual, like, this is the thing about the USA Cartoon Express that Trump has nominated.
Just have a couple speed buggies on there.
All right. I have bitched and moaned for years about actually getting outsiders into these positions, and this is the first opportunity that a lot of people, will be outsiders, or kind of, there are some people, but I mean, yeah,
Sort of.
these are the closest thing to outsiders that I've seen. Remember, because my My big letdown, of course, being Mr. Obama himself, but because that dude was an outsider, he became an insider within like 15 seconds. It's just kind of like,
Yeah, he took off the Batman suit.
he most certainly
Yeah.
did. And he
He was
revealed
like, no, wait, I am Bruce Wayne.
exactly. He revealed his secret identity on
Right.
like day 15. He's like, well, I don't want to get yelled at,
Right.
and
I don't want to do stuff.
and he settled in. And so yeah, if there are some things to be shaken up, I mean, this was, you know, my Bernie Sanders argument was like, system needs to be.
Well, it needs to be disciplined a little bit.
Yes.
You know, but like I think some parts of it are a little bit worse off than other. HHS definitely be one. I'm not seeing Kristi Noem doing that much with fucking Department of Fatherland Security. So, I mean, she's not going to burn down the TSA, which I would love her to do, but
I don't think so either.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I mean, you know, maybe they'll do some stuff at the border. So, well, they'll definitely do that. But like Trump's playing that one smart. He's going to get the Canadians and the Mexicans to police the border.
Those Mexicans got in line real fast, and so did.
Dude, the Mexicans were fine. Fucking Trudeau flew down to Mar-a-Lago and had Thanksgiving dinner with him.
Trudeau changed his mind as quickly as. I mean, he was.
He was on the plane that afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, that and the fact that his he's not too popular in Canada right now, and for some of those reasons, like again, immigration's a big deal here. It's a big deal up there, and given that they have a significantly smaller population than we do, they're feeling the effects of it. We have more, but it's a greater percentage, and it's from where they're getting it from.
They get a lot of so their visa system is very strict.
Yes.
So they don't tolerate people living there illegally very long. So, you know,
like they got a little bit of room to play with it, but it's not
much.
It ain't nothing like what we have.
It's not much.
Here. No.
If you don't have money, or if you don't have a degree, or if you don't own a tech company or something,
right,
you're not getting the visa, a permanent one.
Nope.
And then, you know, like a lot of it, they know what they're doing, because there's a lot of people who want to get to the United States, and so they'll get a Canadian visa. They'll live in Canada for 2 or 3 years, and then they'll apply for a U.S. visa, and it's a lot easier to get a U.S. visa from Canada. Yeah, so it's kind of, there's a little bit of a circle jerk going on there. So
there is, and I know a lot of that circle jerking is rigged via India.
Yeah, a lot of it is India.
The worst. That place is the most corrupt visa dispensary on the goddamn planet.
Qatar is pretty bad too, man. They channel visas from several different countries.
Okay. Yes.
And there's like prices. You know?
That says there are less Qatarians.
Yeah, but you only take in so many every single year.
This is true. Yeah.
That's why visas from getting a U.S. visa from India is almost impossible. So
no, you get them. Proportionally, no.
Proportionally, it is really hard. So
which is why it's so crooked.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's 1.3 billion of you, but you know the U.S. like says all countries get X number. So you know, so I've had students have to fight with that in the past. You know, and it's not good. You know, because the same thing is true with China. So when we were letting people in from China, or when they were letting them out, I think that's the way it actually works.
Right.
So, yeah. I mean, a few of them would express interest in trying to stay, but it was almost impossible to get a permanent residency visa from China just because it has 1 billion people. So, yeah.
Which is why they were sneaking in through the southern border.
Oh, yeah. Well, because they have money. Right, yeah. So $8,000 for a mule, no problem. So yeah, I'm gonna stitch that in my vest.
Now, that being said, the average Chinese person does not have that kind of money.
No, but the kind that wants to get to the United States does.
Correct.
Yeah,
that wants to funnel their money out.
That's exactly what they want.
That's correct. Yes. Yeah. The other ones, okay, you can argue like I'm not welcome here. I'm going for a better life. Blah 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 blah. Those guys are a different story.
Yeah, but you can't get out, man. Unless you hop the fence into Vietnam. So
Right. There's so many obstacles. There's so many.
there's landmines there, Jeff. Real ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's weird, but yeah, it's very positive. It's at least from where I'm standing. Again, if this is something that, let's say for example, I did see that the migrant caravans were intercepted
Yeah.
in Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which was not happening before. And again, if this is something that actually removes my need for drone explosions,
Right, for FPV drones.
right,
Yeah.
then so be it. Then we have an effective solution.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. So, but I don't know how much Christy Noem's going to have to do with that. So
I don't know. I don't know about that one.
she's fine. I mean, if you're governor of a state, okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cool. So, it's kind of like being a mini president. So great,
I would say so.
Yeah. So that's probably pretty good. There was the one guy that I was kind of surprised hasn't got a job is that Doug Bergstrom guy. So who was like going to be, he was in the VP running for a bit there. You remember that guy from South Dakota? He was their governor. He had the wild hair. He was like a billionaire.
Not right offhand. But
Yeah. I thought Trump would hook him up. And I think Trump's just about done appointing people. Well, I mean, depends on who gets through. So
there are some fights left. I think some of them are done deals. I know that some of the appointees, like, that's all done.
I don't. Have they voted on them yet? I don't think they've done that yet. They're just deciding which ones they're going to fight about. So
right.
like they're not going to fight RFK Jr.
They're not. Some people said they were, but they're not.
They're not going to.
The fucking Fox News guy.
He might get scorched, but maybe not.
There's like 2 holdouts that really need to be settled.
Well, I heard that, like if I don't know, but there's like a rumor out there that this is the DeSantis job. So, and I don't know if that's actually true or not. So,
well, DeSantis has a job.
but only for another year and a half.
Yes, but he's doing it.
Yeah, but
I think DeSantis likes what he's doing. I think.
my understanding is that DeSantis said he would do it. So, if offered.
All right. Well, I mean, the homeboy there is, they're fighting over it. Again, they only have to turn like 2 people on this one, and one of them is from Iowa. So I think this is
Is it Joni Ernest?
Yes.
She does not like him. So, yeah.
But what they did say, and this is a very good point, is I believe that place was Trump plus 13.
They're not going to vote out Joni Ernst.
So they're
Not over Pete Hegseth. Especially since she's got more combat experience than he does.
and that's the problem.
It's kind of a problem.
That's the issue. But yeah, that's one of the fights right now. I believe they said they have all the votes they need for most of the other ones.
So the like the insider baseball that I was reading a little bit was like, well, so they got Gates. So, but apparently Gates got Gates. So, and then then they tapped the who is it, the Attorney General from Florida for AG.
Oh,
and everybody's
right.
yeah, she's great, no worries.
Right.
So, everybody was cool with her. So there's no fight there. So the running thing is that they're going to get one. So, and if it's like right now they're gunning for Hegseth because he's got some icky things. They're not necessarily like illegal or anything. They're just icky, and then the other thing is that he just doesn't have that much like management experience. Was the other thing that they've all been saying. I don't really buy either of those 2 arguments. So the argument that I would actually buy is that, yeah, the Senate's going to murder off one, okay, because they're going to show Donald Trump that, hey, man, you still need our 60 votes. So, and if you have a Supreme Court justice coming around, okay, you got to understand that you're just not going to pick whoever you want to fucking pick, kind of thing. So, so they'll murder somebody off. Maybe somebody further, like Kash Patel in the FBI, he's basically a shoo-in. So, and then there's a couple others. They're not going to vote against Marco Rubio. He's one of their buddies. So, and the same thing was true with, who's the New York lady who's going to the UN? Stefanik.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Elise
yeah.
Stefanik. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not going to vote against her. They don't really have any problem with any of his other picks, like Treasury or all these guys are basically like faceless bureaucrats.
Right.
So with the exception of some here or there. And so the fight comes down to Hegseth and Gabbard. So if they don't get Hegseth, who they're going to go after next, man. So so we'll see.
Yeah, it's a little bit wacky. I don't see. I know that basically like with some of this stuff, it's sort of like when you're supplying a copy of your movie for the MPAA, right? And you're trying to get a PG-13 rating, and you know that they're going to. That's the thing.
You have a good analogy, Jeff.
Well, you know that they're going to give notes, right? They're going to give notes, so you're going to throw some things in there that are dead giveaways. It's like, I don't expect this to make it, right? Because I want these to make it, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then here's the thing though, is every now and then you're watching a PG-13 movie, and you're like, they really let him put a power drill through that guy's hand? Like,
that happens.
right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that shit happens. And so, you're right. I think there's a couple of those that are like, yeah, these are my long shots.
Right, yeah, exactly.
If they get through, that's sweet. But
Gates was a half-court shot, man. You're not supposed to make that one,
I wanted him to make it. In hindsight, I was like...
No, I did not want him to make it. So, that guy's a turd. So...
Exactly, yes.
Okay, fine. Find somebody who's mean. I don't want someone who's a dork. So...
He's a dork.
Yeah, I don't want it. Yeah, no. I was not sad to see him go down. I'm kind of neutral on Hegseth, but I could definitely see Ron DeSantis playing this one. He's like, hey, you know what I've got in my back pocket? I've got a Senate seat. So, right? And so, you know what? I'd like a nice job, and your daughter could use a Senate seat.
I haven't asked her, but...
guarantee she's been asked. I guarantee, dude.
I don't know. Maybe it's just kind
of... that's to be such a naked exchange. So...
Exactly.
It might happen, man. So, we'll see.
Bro, I don't know what to tell you. I don't... So... The dignity of politics, like, just kiss it goodbye. The fucking... So the Hunter Biden pardon is...
It's about to get about...
It's way embarrassing. But the fact that those those other co-conspirators are going to be pardoned preemptively.
What are the chances you think he'll actually do that? Because who was listed there? It was like Fauci.
And
why was Liz Cheney on that list? What did she fucking do?
That's the thing. Nobody knows. But they're saying that she's going to be a target.
Why? Just let her right off in the
I have no idea.
I see, and this is the whole thing. I don't even think Donald Trump's going to give two fucks about any of this stuff. So come January 20th. So I can tell you who his targets are. Okay.
Anybody that was in any way, if anybody was in the same room with Jack Smith at any point, okay, I think those are the people who are going to be like, you guys are the enemies of America.
Well, that's easy. You just fire them.
I understand.
Yeah. He's going to do that. What I'm
talking about are the people that he's specifically going to go after.
I don't think he's going to do it.
No, well, I mean, those guys, yes, you fire them. Yes.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, he's going to fire them.
But that's what I'm saying is...
I mean, Jack Smith, didn't he already resign? I think he did.
He resigned with like a running start. It was like, so
it's like one of them wind-up cars.
He did like Jack Smith like resigned with like $500 check and a written apology. Like it was.
Just left his keys and his badge on the table. Yeah. It's got that little pouch that he's got to sign off when you get it back. Yeah.
I mean, there's a possibility that may have also included like underneath the badge is a fold up piece of paper that has a list of names on it.
That might be there. You never know.
I'm going to tell you, one of the things that he is going to do, I promise you this, is he's going to be making it a point to ferret out the people that were... Look, there's no two ways around it, okay? The DNC colluded like fucking crazy with all the lawsuits they dropped on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And those are the people who have been tying his ass up in court for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
Anybody associated with that, those are the ones that are going to get torched. Those are the ones that are going to
lose their jobs. That's for sure.
Yes,
especially if they're involved in justice.
Correct.
And see, and that's why that Florida AG lady is a good one. Because Matt Gaetz would fuck around and he'd spend more time on Twitter than he'd be actually doing his job. So that there's one guy in the administration who gets to do that. We all know who that is.
All right. All right. I got you.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I mean, like a lot of that stuff. Yeah. I mean, dude, he's got bigger fish to fry. He's got way bigger fish to fry. So
huge. But
yeah, absolutely huge. He's not. I don't think he's actually going to do that much stuff domestic policy wise. I really don't. So
here's the wacky thing. All right, and I think you'd agree with it. You made this point here on some occasions here. One of the worst things that you can do is basically interrupt a good thing when it's going on.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in a position to take credit for it. Without doing anything. And like, don't disrupt the natural healing process of the market. There's some shit that needs to get sorted out, but it looks like a lot of it is moving in the right direction now. And the worst thing you can do is like, well, let me throw my ingredients in this stew here. It's like, nah, just let it do its thing.
He's gonna let it reduce.
Yeah. And so I don't think a lot of that's going to be necessary. I think that a lot of... You tell me on this one here. The how big of a deal is China's embargo on metals and basically like
it's not.
Do we have other places to get these? I presume
we got a shitload of them in California of all places.
Okay.
Yeah, we can find it elsewhere. That's the whole thing. Is rare earth metals aren't rare. They're just extremely dirty to mine.
Right.
And refine. And so, if it comes down to it, if we've got access to the resources, we're just going to have to get... Well, and this is something he might do. I mean, he might go through and take a look at, like, a lot of the permitting processes for the EPA and shit like that. It's like, yeah, fucking burn all that down. Okay? Okay, yeah, build the fucking wafer melter, 2000 right in the middle of Humboldt County, California. Have at it, So...
Yeah, it is one of that's my understanding is basically any time that you can get the the people in Angola to do it, you have them do it because it is it's shitty,
it's awful,
it's environmentally crappy,
it's bad. Yeah, but those are like compared to like scratching beets out of the ground. That's a good job. So,
well, yeah, because you're gonna have to put on a spacesuit.
Yeah, exactly.
You die if you don't.
So,
yeah, you can't just. Yeah, it's not like when you see those videos of. And I always like point out this Will is like. Every time I see the roughnecks out there, they show the videos of the guys with no shirts on. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
like not on any of the rigs I worked on.
No.
It's like your PPE is lacking, and
well, they're just drilling for water.
Everybody's gonna get written up here, dude. Water doesn't matter. You are supposed to wear impact gloves.
Okay.
You are supposed to wear eye protection, right?
Right.
You were supposed to wear FRs, right? I mean, that's the thing.
Right. Even on a water rig?
I don't think those are all water rigs.
Oh, okay. I would defer to you on that. I don't know what I'm looking at, so.
Because there's some pretty goddamn nasty invert coming out of that shit on some of those. But yeah, this is... You can't go mine rare earth metals without a shirt.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
You can't.
Yeah.
So if you have to suit up, yeah, that's a big job.
Yeah. No, that's the Chinese. Just they are way more scared of us than we are of them. That's why they're building a lot of nuclear missiles. A lot. So they still don't have, like quarter of what we or Russia have. But they'll get there. So because they're making them. We've been doing underground testing and things like that for a couple of years. Xi Jinping's he's not as crazy as people think he is. He's not as dumb as like the China guys think he is either, unfortunately.
Right.
I mean,
but I don't think he's necessarily. He's no genius.
No, he's no genius, but he knows he's in a strong position. I don't know if he's actually going to try and take Taiwan. So the military experts say that there's basically a 3 to 5 year window there that starts in 2027.
Yeah.
So where it might get really dangerous because, they've been building their navy. Their navy isn't a blue water navy though. It's not designed to go much past the Philippines. So when people say, "Oh, they got twice as many ships," it's like, yeah, but they don't go very far.
That makes a difference, doesn't it?
It makes a big difference, Jeff. Yeah.
Why does it make a difference? Why?
Because ours do. Yeah.
Why is just sheer number of boats not an effective
Oh, it could be.
measurement?
I mean, if they're just going 90 miles across the strait, that's exactly what you would do.
Well, right.
Build a whole bunch of cheap ships. So
right.
They have lots of missiles on them. And Chinese ships are really fucking dangerous. So they have a lot of offensive firepower on them. Very little defensive firepower. So, yeah, they're very dangerous. So,
look, man, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen,
I think, I'm going to tell you, I think everybody learned a lesson from Russia-Ukraine
Yep.
I think if they were going to do that, those plans have now been put on indefinite hold because they're like, y'all can't bust a next door land neighbor.
You can't make it more than 30 kilometers into that thing. So come on, man. Yeah. There's been a lot of Russian news this week. So
what did I miss?
oh, it's just like the ruble is now worth less than 1 penny. So,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Actually broke the penny mark. Yeah. So, and then they're dumping Chinese currency. They were using the Chinese currency, sell them oil, take in Chinese currency to support their own currency. But the Russian people aren't trading in the Chinese currency anymore. I don't really understand all the currency stuff, but basically,
wow.
It's not worth even a ruble in Russia. So
Jesus.
yeah. So yeah, there's a couple guys that I watched. They're pretty depressed.
What are they depressed for?
Food. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, food in particular. Let's say people you go to Walgreens and they keep the fucking Benadryl in a locked cage.
Yeah.
They have to do that with butter.
Oh.
In Russia.
Hey, bro. Depending on what part of California you live in, they do the same thing.
That's true.
So,
yeah, well, there's one specific part. Yeah.
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 But that's different. It's not as though the dollar has lost its value.
Oh no.
And you know what? I will say that in a rare moment of clarity, California has walked back that policy of the $950.
The limit.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. That is just some stupid.
It's so bad,
it's so
man.
fucking dumb. It's just.
Who's that bald-headed guy who goes around? He went back to San Francisco. Maybe a couple weeks ago. It was right before the election. He had put a video up.
Yeah.
About it. Yeah. And there was a guy with a Trump stand.
So,
like in the middle of downtown,
not getting attacked, not getting
no, and cars were honking and waving at him. And he was asking, he was like, "Would they have done that 2 years ago?" He's like, "No, absolutely not."
No,
Yeah,
it's sort of it's
but he was selling all the Trump flags and swag and
Yeah.
stuff right in the middle of downtown San Francisco, and people coming up, "Hey, yeah, he's my guy."
Bro, look, I talk to people that live there, and they didn't say this specifically, but I mean, there's just this like beaten down, like,
Yeah.
if you're not, look, so there are people that are absolute like leftist boosters out there, right? True, like, dyed in the wool, like whatever the far end of progressive is, they champion it like crazy.
We
right?
still have that here.
We do,
yeah.
but there is an animated crowd about that, right?
There is.
But I swear, like, if you're not part of that, like, a lot of those San Franciscans are just gonna, like, they look at Trump like they're like the French in World War II. It's like, I wish he'd liberate us. I wish
they'd land already.
It's like, God damn it, man.
There's been a long-standing like political theory in America that as goes California, so goes the nation. So meaning that like just about every weird thing that comes up.
Yeah.
So and if you go through like all the like, at least for all the 20th century and I guess the 21st century now.
Yeah.
And maybe a big chunk of the 19th century. That's where your industry kicked off. That's where, like all the agricultural changes came from. That's where all the transportation stuff, that's where all the fashion came from. That's where a lot of food came from, and then later on, that's where culture and media, radio, all that stuff came from. And that's where hippies came from.
Yeah.
And that's where Nixon came from.
That's where Reagan came from.
And then that's where Reagan came from. And that's where, like... So, I mean, all the DEI stuff over the last 10 years came from, so, and now, like, seeing that guy with the Trump stand in the middle of downtown San Francisco and cars honking at him, waving at him. Not mean honking either.
No.
Get the fuck out of it. No, not like that, man. So,
And look, I'm sure that more than their share of loud folk came by and voiced their discontent
I'm
from
sure.
time to time.
Yeah.
But, at the same time, the dude was like, you know what, that's nice. Are you going to buy something? Because that guy wants to buy something.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and keep the line moving.
Right.
So I get that, and I understand it's a necessary component of the nation in terms of the balance that we do have. What I'm starting to see there is there's another block that's forming that's basically that bridge between Texas and Florida. That is like, shit, this is not
good, man. Let's just get back to work and get her done. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean the same flocking from there, you're seeing that these guys are like eating lunch right now. There's like the movement towards Texas and Florida is fucking crazy.
Yeah, but it's not as much as you think. Okay, so like I actually pulled this not too long ago. California, its population actually hasn't shrunk. So
It hasn't grown.
No, but everybody who's been moved out has been replaced by somebody else who moved there. So
Right.
yeah.
So it's been static.
It's been static.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, and that
Places have shrunk, like New York has shrunk.
New York, yeah, but not as much as you think. So I mean, we're not talking like 10% fucking leaving.
No.
So,
no. But that's the thing is the percentages leaving a big place are enough to make difference in smaller places that they go to.
Well, yeah, but not if they go to Florida. So Florida and Texas are huge.
Well, and that's a lot of the retirees that are coming there are basically they're not
getting jobs.
Well, they're not getting jobs, but they're also not like the hardcore Democrats. They're not necessarily Republicans, but I mean it's
oh man, that'd be great if they went down there and voted out. Who's that one crazy Congress lady from down there? The Jewish one? She got in so much trouble a few years ago and kind of went radio silent for a couple years, but I saw her the other day. She's just an extreme blue team attack dog. I can't remember her name.
in Florida.
In Florida. So You'd recognize her. She's got scraggly blonde hair. So.
Wasserman Schultz.
Wasserman Schultz.
Yeah,
There you go. That's
yeah,
the one.
the
Yeah.
fucking.
Yeah. I saw her barking at somebody the other day. I was
Well,
like, you are
that's
so
exactly
done,
it,
man.
yeah.
You know?
She did, yeah. Every time you see that fucking Jewish poodle come up to the mic, just that something fucking stupid is going to come out of her mouth.
Well, she did get scorched hard on something like 5-6 years ago. I can't remember what it was.
She did. She got blown up about a year ago too.
No, this was bad. Like she almost like got censured by the Congress. It was some kind of, I can't remember, but because she was like the DNCC chair for a while.
She was.
And then she got ousted from that because of some scandal. I can't remember what it was.
So you remember that was during the Hillary Clinton campaign.
I thought it was it? No, she was around during. Oh, in 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that's one of the that was one of the big fights that they were having.
I thought she got in trouble at the same time that Anthony Weiner guy got in trouble.
Yeah, but he got in trouble for different stuff.
But I thought it was like adjacent, like he was covering for her or something.
Look,
I might be wrong about that.
I don't think you are. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. But what I can tell you is, back then, I know one of the big fights was it was between her and the Clinton campaign, where they were like, there was a fight basically as far as like, well, actually, we make the decisions.
Oh.
And of course, Hillary Clinton is like, the fuck did you say, bitch? And there.
She probably did say that. That's probably a verbatim.
It's probably email. Yeah.
It was on the server.
So actually, no. So I sent you the email, then I printed it, and then I sent it to your house.
Yeah.
With my official seal on it.
I had a guy bring it to you.
Yeah. Because I want you to.
My ring.
Yeah, it actually it's like sunken in with an HRC.
It's
like, yeah. Yeah, because I understand those two were fighting pretty hard, and that was...
I didn't know that.
You know, because that was one of the things, she was one of the ones that was responsible for sinking Bernie.
Oh, okay.
That's right. She was part of the internal civil war there, where the votes were coming in for him, but she was... Anyway, that was why she was persona non grata for a little while.
Man, I got no sympathy for Bernie anymore. So, I really don't.
He said some shit. He did come clean the other day where he's like, our party needs to change.
He's been saying that for 15 years. So, in 2020, he ran right back underneath Biden's legs and, like
he did. He does not stand.
He did not acquit himself well in that fight. So,
Well, I guess here's going to be the big question. I mean, obviously we're going beyond our 50-year requirement to do any historical analyzing. But I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of positive shit that came out of this. I don't think it's going to be remembered well.
Oh, Biden?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't think so.
Yeah. It might be a Carter one. It might be I actually, you know what? The probably the most equivalent one will be Jerry Ford. So,
right.
Yeah, we're like, there'll be a couple things. Because, I mean, there's a couple things that did come out of it pretty good. I mean, like Arizona produces almost as many fucking chips as Taiwan does now, which is crazy.
Wild?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's gonna take years," and they're like, "No, actually, we figured it out." It was like, "Oh, yeah, I forgot we do that, don't we?"
Better than anybody else.
Anybody else out there? Yeah,
country mile.
Yeah, exactly. And so, with like 2 years ago in Podcastistan, that was like the doom of America.
Right.
And it's like, well, actually, yeah. And so it's not that big of a deal, but like all the icky personal stuff is just, I mean, the Hunter Biden pardon's going to be, it's like up there with the Nixon pardon now. So if he turns around and does it for Anthony Fauci,
that fucking.
But see, here's the thing: is I don't think Anthony Fauci actually did anything illegal, so I don't think you could prosecute him anyway.
Well, this is.
I mean, I haven't heard a single person say what the argument is. So now you could maybe find him like criminal or civilly liable in a situation like that. Okay, so what are you going to do, Alex Johnson? The guy's like 90 years old. So, okay.
All right. So I don't. Everything that I've seen. Okay. Now again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a legal expert or anything like that. Everything that I've seen there in terms of what he did and what his cronies did, in terms of controlling the COVID narrative and burying everybody else that had different evidence. I don't know how illegal it is, but it is goddamn shitty.
Well, it's highly unethical. I agree with that.
That's what I'm talking about. So
but that doesn't
know,
make it illegal.
That's what I don't know. If somebody wants to comb through the law and say, like, you broke this, like, okay, you got it. Maybe. And I have no problem with fucking crucifying him for it, because I'm like, you're an asshole.
I don't think that
bad person.
That guy is not going to go. I mean, he's done more damage to his own reputation, you know. And I mean, like other guys, you know, who were like, there's a couple guys who made really good calls on that. You know, they were like,
yes,
yeah, you know. But I mean,
and they got hung for it.
Well, kind of. They're back in good graces now. So
they are now.
Yeah,
we're talking about in at that time. We're talking about dudes.
They got pilloried. Yeah,
they got pilloried. It's like everybody was like, "You're disinformation." Their accounts were suspended on every platform.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is some information control bullshit. And boy, am I glad that's done.
Well,
I'm glad to see that dudes like Zuckerberg and Bezos are kind of like, you know, we all should have said something a while ago. and
Zuckerberg Bezos goes nowhere without his hot Mexican girlfriend.
He just,
you know,
he gets to the point in life.
It's like, all right, man, I got you, man. You know,
he does. But Zuckerberg's looking like, you know, when you see him, it's just, I know his face looks weird already.
He's got that weird pallor to him.
He does, but he's just like his looks look like he's had like 2 sets of bruised eyes, and they've healed over like 5 times from people just working him over. And he just kind of like crawled out into the light. He's like, I don't like what's been happening the past 5 years. You know? He's like, I want to make good with people. I want to stop censoring folks. And I'm like, all right, well, go for it. But it sure doesn't. It's weird that all of a sudden all of the billionaires are starting to like kiss ass to Trump.
Some.
Yes,
I mean, you're not going to see Soros do that.
So. No, because he is who he is. He's a misanthrope. He's got
to be almost dead.
Yes, but unfortunately his genetic seed is powerful and nubile and able to conduct evil on levels without physical restrictions holding him back.
Yeah.
Already shaking hands with every Democrat.
Yeah, but almost every billionaire, like America we have like 700 billionaires in the United States.
Billionaires?
Yeah.
700?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Billionaires?
Yeah. That's not that many. Out of 335 million people, you have less than 1,000 billionaires? That's crazy, man.
I would think that you'd have like
dude, the proportion of billionaires to people in Russia is way worse.
Well, no, I'm saying like I thought you would have like more, like a lot more millionaires.
Oh, you do.
Like high millionaires, but I'm talking about crossing the billion mark, man.
No, not that many.
Wow.
Yeah.
700 seems like a lot to me, man.
Well, most of them are onesie-twosie billionaires, so...
As if that's a small number.
Yeah, but, I mean, okay.
It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of... It's $1,000 million is a lot, okay? Yes. So, but, proportionately, like, in the 1890s, your Rockefellers were way fucking richer than Elon Musk is today. So, in terms of what they could afford... So, yeah, compared to what he can afford.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean... it's not even close. So,
But there weren't that many of them.
no, proportionally, it's always been pretty consistent that it's like, so you're talking about the less than 1/2 of 1%. So, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you know. So, but I mean, billionaires, I mean, there's not that many of them, you know. So, I mean, and a lot of it is just, you know, it's like most of it's wealth on paper. They don't have that, you know, fucking stashed away in a money bin somewhere. So,
Oh, yeah.
like Musk, he doesn't have, I bet you he has very little cash. So,
No, so he didn't, you know, when he went in to go buy Twitter,
Mhm.
you know, he didn't just open his wallet and just start.
no, he financed it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. He's the kind of guy you give a loan to. So, you know, no problem. But that increases his assets right there.
Right.
Yeah. So, but anyway, of all of them, I mean, there's maybe like 10 or 15 that are actually influential in one way or another. So there's not that many. You've seen, like, there's this really cool graph that you can go and you can take a look at who's powerful in the United States. And you got to take a look at the Russia one. It's hilarious. So,
It's just the one with like the bubbles.
yeah. It's called a heat
yeah.
map. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then, but in the United States, it's not very many billionaires that are really powerful. It's individuals who are like CEOs of large companies. Very few of those are actually billionaires. So, you know, I mean, they have a couple $100 million. So
Again, that's a lot of money too.
it is a lot of money, but, you know, I'd argue that if you're a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, basically you've earned that. You know?
Oh, I'm not fighting against it. I'm just saying like 700 people with at least $1 billion just seems like a lot to me. It was like that's a lot of money in one group.
But it's not a big group. So, you know, I mean, you could fit them in you could probably fit them in Doherty's gymnasium and it
Look,
stands.
they could all, yes, obviously we don't need to go to Ann Arbor to house all of our billionaires.
Yeah.
My God, that's the amount of money in there would be ridiculous. But I mean,
But it represents like a tiny fraction of how much wealth is actually in the United States. So, you know, what most people don't realize is that, like, you know, if you were to add up all of their wealth, I think it comes out to like something like $1.2 trillion. So, which the United States federal government burns in less than 2 months. So,
yeah, that's a problem too.
well, I mean, maybe. So, you know,
Ain't no maybe about it. We're in the hole.
yeah, but is that a problem?
Yes.
Why?
So I mean, we're past 100% debt to income. And we haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah, but we've been there before. We got out of it before. So,
Right. That's what I'm saying is
yeah.
we have to actively try to get out of it.
Well, you know how we got out of it last time.
They grew out of it.
Yeah, that's what we got to do. So,
Well, obviously, yes, but I
Yeah.
mean, we have certain problems doing that right now.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty optimistic. Next couple of years are gonna be pretty bangers. So,
See, I'm starting to get a downturn on this.
how's that?
Yeah, I'm starting to see some things that I don't like. Some certain like indicators that, like, I don't know if this is going to be a good thing. So, all right, let me put it this way. All right, so the obvious paths that I look forward to in terms of like this seems like it would be a boon or a good move. I'm not seeing those expanding right now.
Like, what would be an example of something that would be good?
Like if I were to go back to say 1995, right?
Okay.
I could look at this and say like, all right, e-commerce is exploding, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Now that's an obvious answer.
Right. But 1999, you know, is right around the corner.
What about 99?
That's the tech bubble. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, but that being said, it bursting sort of like changed the model for a lot of things and actually made it better for the things that survived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that happen in the next couple of years.
So yeah, there are certain things that when I look at you know, like when I was talking like to the San Franciscans, they're talking about like venture capital is there's a problem with it over there now.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think that's actually healthy. Now, they might disagree with me on that one. They certainly know a lot more about it than I do.
Because they were making money off of it, but yes.
But I mean, you had a lot of useless money chasing useless projects for 2 decades.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so right? that's dying. So
Right. But that's something that was seen as a lot of people were looking at that as like, all right, this is a great place to invest to get returns on, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing like that. It's like, all right, that blowing up is something that looks like an economic no-no, right? There are tons of jobs being like scrubbed out of that place like crazy.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I gotta be honest with you.
As far as I'm concerned, yes, there's a lot of
the idea that you can be a tech entrepreneur, go and learn how to program like JavaScript, okay, and then maybe dabble a little bit in Python for a little bit, and someone's going to pay you millions of dollars for your ideas is ridiculously stupid. So I mean, it's just financialization. It's gambling, is what it is.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
The gambling is never a good way to start an economy, Jeff. So
I do not disagree with you.
Yeah, and so the whole learn to code thing is just endemic of that. And quite honestly, what I see is especially, okay, if Donald Trump's going to go out there, he's going to slap a few tariffs out there. Okay, fine. Fuck it. Let's make Stanley tools here again. Let's
absolutely agree with you 100%.
I mean, if you can start re-engaging a whole generation of young men who, like really don't have much business being in college, so to tell you the truth, by learning how to drop forge a fucking, wrench, go do it. So, and it'd be great to actually have that here, because then if you actually want to talk about like wealth inequality right now is strictly split along educational lines. That's it. Okay? You do not find stupid people who are rich. So
well, I mean, it depends on what you define as rich.
Okay, so like worth more than $1 million net. So if you have a net worth of $1 million in this country, you're like in the top third, okay, or maybe the top quarter.
Yeah.
All right. So there's 2 types of people who make it there. All right. So they're old people who work their entire lives. Okay. Or they're people who got educated and started being doctoring, lawyering, engineering stuff.
Yeah. That's the problem there is like, I saw something here where it's not necessarily education per se, but it's education in where you go with it.
Totally.
There's like that. The thing that they show there is, that there's a weird thing with the graph when the graph about men and women going to college, right? I think we talked about this a little bit before, but it turns out that women tend to. There's more college. I'm not talking about nursing; that's its own thing. But there's more college that they go into with degrees that typically pay less.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just about all your humanities, every last one of your social
let's
sciences.
not talk shit because I mean you and I are.
But I have a humanities degree. Thank you. Yeah.
Right.
So mine's not even a social science. Mine is a bona fide humanities. So is yours. And so fuck, Jeff. I was a fine arts major for 2 years. God, what a bad idea that was. So, yeah.
Well, see, you we come from the chase your dreams,
which is wrong. Don't do that. Wrong.
Okay, so I can't say it's wrong, but what the advice I can give is right. Just be open-minded. Don't expect the first thing that you go into to be the thing that you
awesome
like.
At this. Yeah.
And it's just and go into this knowing that's like, hey, look, yes, you can get wiped out in a car accident at any time. So can anybody. Mm-hmm. But realistically, you're not going to live to be 45. So you don't have to look down the barrel of a career that you don't like at like 22 and say, well, if I don't secure a mate or kill a man and take his, then
I don't want to live in that country, Jeff.
Then
that one definitely sounds like it's a sand-based economy.
Right. Yes, after I defeat him, I must eat all of his cubs, and then and then procure my own line because I will die at 45. So I must set in my career at this point now.
No, you don't need to do
Right.
that.
So I will be the best fine artist that has ever lived.
Right.
Right. So just the whole thing, I wish people would know, like, look, there's a decent chance that the major you go into will not be what you like. And do not be ashamed of that.
No, and don't question yourself if you don't think college is worth it for you. You don't need to be there, man. So, I mean, the whole idea, like work hard, get good grades and stuff like that, okay, fine. But you got to have a plan. Otherwise that shit don't work, so.
Well, and yeah, the things that you're saying there is, so I can go back to the oil industry one more time. And so if you're talking about like building Stanley tools here, right? The history of oil drilling for a while there, America got priced out of it.
It did.
Because it was too expensive for us to do it. And then it turned around that, well, with technology and doing things here, we became the #1 producer.
Yes.
Because even with all the regulations and all of the god-awfully overpaid people involved in every process, including yours
I have
truly,
never seen a fucking industry so flush with cash, Jeff.
until it wasn't, until they shut them down.
Well, that's how it works, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we spread on all the peanut butter till the jar is empty.
Yup. And then that's the thing is, it's like it's not as though like the Pac-Men are just like chomping up that peanut butter as it goes. It's like it's still coming out of the ground. So I mean,
right, you can only drill so much before demand does,
and
well, and then you see that's when you start seeing it come down at the pump. So
exactly. And so that
yeah,
there wasn't that much. I mean, there were some college-educated people there, but there weren't.
you didn't need to be though. Yeah,
Some guys were.
that's fine.
No
No worries, man. So.
it's
And I mean, I'm not saying that college is necessarily a bad option for a lot of people too. It's just like, it'd be nice, like, when we were growing up, there was such an emphasis on getting out of the middle class. It was like, you got to get out of this. You don't want to be a punch clock for the rest of your life.
well because we were in it.
Exactly. And that's just, I mean, and so what we've done is we've managed to create, I'm going to call it a sub-generation because it's a part of a generation that is highly overeducated and underemployed.
Yeah.
So, and they spend a lot of time on Twitter. So
Those people are called millennials.
they're called, well, some of them are. So
Look,
there's plenty from our generation, Jeff.
well, okay. Now here's the thing: is so you and I both know because I saw this chart too where it was talking about the people that were going to be phasing out around 2008 came back or stuck around.
Phasing out of what?
The workforce.
Yeah, they did stick around.
So
yeah.
when you're talking about that like X generation, there were a lot of people who were supposed to inherit the kingdom, but the king lived another 10 more
they
years.
fucking got it now for sure. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So that's starting to switch on over.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So those guys are finally getting theirs.
Dude, everybody in command staff at my work is of our generation.
They're X.
They're all X.
So basically,
Yeah.
it's like,
There's a couple boomers left, but oh my gosh, you can tell who they are.
but they're on their way out. I mean,
Well, either that or they're the kind of people that you're going to have to wheel out of the building, and every generation will have some of those
yes,
too. Yeah,
you know what? They don't want to go home.
they don't want to go home. So,
Yeah, so there is that. So I can't pick on them too much. It's like, all right, well, fuck it. Those guys were gonna leave. They didn't. This shit happens, right? Did you see? Where was it? There's a fucking chart where they were talking about per generation what they thought.
yeah. They saw the
What the
new
fuck was
generation
that?
said
Where
that they were
was that?
supposed to make $600,000 a year. Jeff, if you see a number like that, you need to be instantaneously suspicious. Because I'll tell you right off the bat where that bullshit came from.
Where?
It came from some fucking finance blog. Okay? So
So you did see? I was like,
I totally-
this can't be for real.
it's not. It's
Okay, all right.
completely fake.
Okay,
So,
all right.
well, I mean, you can make a poll out there where you can fuck with the way that individual items are scaled on it. So, because they'll ask like, people in different polls different questions. So let's say okay, what's a decent living? And if you have like basically three categories of people who say, yeah, making $80,000 to $120,000 is great, and it is. Okay, if you can't make it off $80,000 in this town, you got to sell some shit, dude. So I mean, come on.
I mean, the only question I would be is like, where do you live?
My question would be, what are your habits? So because you obviously got some
I got you, but I mean, that's
yeah.
going to start with like, well, what neighborhood do you live in where your mortgage payment is
like $4,000 a month? Yeah, okay, come on, man.
But I mean, that's, I think that goes into your same question too. It's like, well, maybe you should have bought this house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're house rich and cash poor, man. So that's a common trap.
Yeah.
So, but like there's so many of those finance blogs out there that are completely wrong about stuff like that. Because then if you look at it in a little bit, it's like, well, Lending Tree will help you with blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got to be really...
Is this how they calculated that data? Is this where they fucked it up? Or...
Oh, I don't know exactly where they fucked it up. But it was just... like the magnitude of order on it was so high that instantaneously it was like, you guys are fucking the data. So there's no way. So, but then if you go in and you dig into it a little bit and they say, oh, well, we surveyed 32 people and 6 of them were from this generation. It's like, fuck off. You just went around and asked 6 of your friends, didn't you? So.
Where do you live? Where did you take the poll?
Right.
Oh, you live in San Francisco. You stepped outside and asked the first 6 people.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. So there's so much stuff on there that's like that, Like there's all these articles about median income and exactly how much it takes to actually like maintain a household in the United States. It's all garbage. The paycheck to paycheck thing is complete fucking bullshit. Because the thing that they ask people is, do you have enough money in your bank account right now to cover a month's expenses? Okay. And then if you say, well, no, I don't. Okay. So then they consider you living paycheck to paycheck because you don't have enough money to cover next month's expenses. Okay.
Is that not wrong?
That is wrong, okay? Because just because you don't have the cash on hand doesn't mean you don't have access to financial resources that would get you through the next month. So,
but if that's the definition of it, then
that's not the actual definition of it. So paycheck to paycheck means that you actually spend your entire paycheck, okay, on all your necessities on your 4 walls, okay, your house, your transportation, your food, and your utilities. And you don't have any money left over at the end of the month after those 4 things.
Right.
That's what it means. That's not what they're asking. They're asking, do you have enough money to cover a whole month's of expenses in your bank account at the end of the month? So you see what they're asking?
I do.
Yeah.
All right. So
it's just not true. If you go around and the Fed asks this question every single year, they say, okay, what do your assets look like? Do you have enough money to actually cover next month's expenses in your bank account? They get a completely different number. So, and if you dig into it and you find out that people who have been doing this, it's like this ProPublica group that's been doing it for years, and you dig into them a little bit. And what are they all about, Jeff?
15-minute cities.
You nailed it. You fucking nailed it, brother. 15-minute cities and 5-hour work weeks. You got it.
I see.
Yeah.
So is there anybody that is asking that question correctly that you can use
the
that?
Fed.
Okay.
Yeah. They ask that question the Fed does a great job with its surveys every year. Some of them are monthly, some of them are quarterly. But if you ever want to just go to Fred, that's the website. It's a Federal Reserve Economic Database.
Okay.
And you can type in a question there and it'll say, yeah, we got a survey on that.
Okay.
So it's good stuff, man. And they do it the same way every single year. So, and if there's a methodology change, they don't play fucking chart fuckery with you. They just start the chart over and they say, hey, we changed it. If you were interested in the previous one, click this. So they don't hide nothing, man. So
no, and sometimes that's why the line looks way different. Yeah. There was
someone the other day. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it had to do with like real wages or something like that. So and it showed this huge dip in real wages and this long, slow recovery that went on for decades and decades. Where'd they start the chart at? And then, of course, they draw a trend line on it. Okay. So.
Okay. If I'm going to guess, 1960?
1929, Jeff.
All right. Because there are some things there that change between 60 and 80 that are pretty significant, but there's a decoupling.
But that is not actually caused by productivity. So there have been great papers written on this, and this is where Mark Blythe is actually wrong about that.
Well, it's weird because, all right, if that were true, okay, because this was the other report that they were talking about today.
Talk about.
Well, the federal hours one,
Yeah.
where they're talking about how many people are on federal remote hours.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
Oh boy,
As part of federal employment?
yes,
I bet you it's high.
really high.
Like what?
Um,
Like as a percentage?
yeah, it was something to the tune. I'll have to. I don't want to misquote anything in it because it's so high that I'm like, this is crazy.
See, and I can kind of see that. So, because like federal employment is such it's a union, but it's not.
You're absolutely right.
yeah.
Because it essentially it has almost like union hiring standards.
It does. I mean, some of that's like good, like they'll like when you go through to put in for a federal classified job, which is just a normal wage job, kind of thing, not a salary gig. And if you're in the military, you get extra consideration for that. There's other things. If you're disabled, you get extra consideration for that. But the real problem isn't necessarily the way that they have the work rules designed. It's that federal law has to follow, or the federal employment has to follow federal law.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then if you decide to sue your employer, that's the biggest goddamn money pot on the planet. Okay. And so, like a lot of times they'll just keep people on payroll and shut them the fuck up. Because it's actually more expensive to fire them.
They'll stuff you in the back room.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, that was George, remember? So that's what he wanted. He did that wildlife program at PTC.
Yeah.
So I could go count ducks on the federal dime. And he did.
Well, he did. He pursued. He had to get a pretty difficult degree, if I recall, to do that. It was like in surveying.
Something like that, but it was at the community college. It wasn't a 4-year degree. So.
Oh, I understand that, but given the way that he was doing it and the amount of math that they were applying to this, I was like, this could be difficult.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
But that's what he was going for, was federal employment, so you could get that gravy train. So, yeah.
No, that's the same thing. That's why they have those daily. That's why they keep the teachers in the detention centers and stuff like that. I'm like,
but those aren't federal employees.
No, they're not. But they have a state version of that too, especially like they were doing that in like California and like, it's more expensive to fire you. It's more because you're under investigation or this is inconclusive, so you just stay in here while we. Like, oh man.
I actually we were talking about teacher pay the other day. I read a really good argument that the best way to actually increase teacher pay would be to delete certification. How do you feel about that? Because I was kind of like...
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, all right. I was kind of in the same spot. I was like... Because I was sitting there, I was like... First, I was like, no, you got to be certified. I was like, wait a minute, why? If I can pass the praxis, I know how to teach English.
Here's the thing is, I know what the certification is.
It's dumb.
And... I'm going to tell you, there's no... The only thing about it is that it's long. Okay? The only...
It takes 2 years, doesn't it?
At least.
Yeah.
And for some of them, it's part of your college program that you go through. I'm not going to fuck around. It's a racket. Okay? There is...
Yeah, I agree.
It is absolutely a racket. When you come to it and say, teacher certification could be done, I shit you not, as a series of brief webinars.
Yeah.
Where
it could be like sexual harassment training.
It is. It's like every one of those things could be done with red light, yellow light, green light classes.
Yeah. Use a little eraser.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
and that's the thing is every part of that could be done with that certification, except for the parts that are observational or student teaching.
Yeah.
Which I have. If you want to say that needs to be a part of, if you want to say like obviously, I don't advocate for internship. I think that's a crock. But something in there where, yes, you are expected to do X amount of observation or guest teaching or whatever like that. I have no problem with that. But the actual certification process, I'm like, dude, yeah, you can certify on this. Like, you don't need to do this fucking 72 weekends, right?
Well, the real racket for education colleges is admin certification. So, because they get you to come back for a master's degree, and they get that one in there. And so, like,
I can't speak to that one per se.
I gotta tell you, like, if you're gonna get rid of teacher certification, there's no reason why you should have principal license either. If anything, you can hold your principal more accountable than you can most of your teachers. So, yeah. So,
I would agree with that. I would say that, look, I don't know 100% how I feel about this, but when they talk about abolishing the Department of Education, I don't particularly see that as wrong.
yeah, I'm not. I mean, that might be a ship that we can scuttle. So
Exactly, because when I look at the data on it, and again, this is not necessarily a one-for-one thing. Obviously, there are going to be multiple things. And I will say this, without the Department of Ed, you're really going to have haves versus have-nots.
in states, yeah,
Yes.
you are.
Like,
Yeah,
Colorado will be fine. Colorado will
we'd probably be better off without it. So
wreck fucking house
yeah,
on the any kind of national level. Alabama will do worse.
yeah,
Illinois will
we'll
do
do
worse.
worse. Yeah,
Missouri will do worse.
yeah.
And I mean, it is what it is. I get it. But, these places that I'm saying that are worse, especially like the big city places, I'm like, you guys have the money and resources to divert if you want to make this a priority.
Yeah.
That's up to you, right?
Yeah.
That is up to you. Other places, like, you're still going to find the big time winners. Like, Connecticut will still throttle
It'll be
everybody.
fine.
Vermont, New Hampshire.
It's encircled by colleges. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah.
New Jersey, they're going to do great.
be
Like,
fine.
all these places over there, it's like, yeah, but other places, it's almost...
You might get a lot more Bible study in Texas.
You might.
You might.
You might. And you know
Yeah.
what? I also don't have a problem with that where you're saying, like, the things that make people actually want to be a citizen or a group that was like, I like that Bible study aspect.
Yeah.
Or, I want to go to California where my kids can go ahead and learn whatever the fuck it is they're going to learn. I'm just going to get them learn, like, where it's 12th grade, fucking, 16th century dildo studies, that you have over there as part of the state curriculum because that's where you live, right?
Yeah.
I don't care.
I think that would do a lot of self-sorting. That would actually help
Big
quite
time.
a bit. But, yeah, so the Department of Ed. I mean, I'd still put the Department of Fatherland Security in front of the firing line before that one. So,
No, dude. if one person, if any
we
one,
can put one thing in the cow crusher.
if any candidate straight up said that, like, I have one mission, all right? I have things that be nice to do.
Right.
Okay?
This is a must-do.
But my job is I will fight every day to end the Patriot Act.
Yeah.
That would be the person I vote for.
Yeah.
Because that is a huge overreach. Like,
Oh, man, but we've had it for, 25 years now? 20... It's getting up there with the Espionage Act, man, where it goes back to 1917, and people are like, well, it's part of the furniture around here now, man.
I don't want to do I'm tired of being like knee deep in George Washington tears. It's not. That's not.
Those are all bad for you. They're toxic.
It's not how we're supposed to do this. This is not what the country's supposed to do. And if anybody said straight up, like, this has to be deleted day one, and I will fight to put an end to this, you're my guy.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right. Yeah.
I'm going to run on that platform right there.
All
We're
right.
going to throw the DHS into the fucking cow crusher.
All
of it.
I guess at some point I do have to ask you. It's like, all right, so if we kill the TSA, right?
Okay.
What do we replace it with?
You just let people have guns on planes. No, I'm kidding. There's no reason not
Where
to.
did you take that weird libertarian turn, man? Wait. I thought we were past this.
Jeff, going to a Super Bowl game, going to any football game, any baseball game, stuff like that, you go to any school whatever. All right, they all have magnetometers and whatever. And school shootings are way more dangerous than fucking airplane hijackings. So get off it. So it's not worth the money. It's not worth the headache. All right, and quite honestly, it's just like, of all the things that I see in the government that are a huge just time and money pit, that's the one that you only fly like once or twice a year, but you get reminded of it every fucking time. So and it's just like, all right, so this. And you go to it and there's like 15 fucking people there and you're the only guy walking through. It's like this, okay. And then like the flip side, what's the classic, example of bureaucratic dumbassery in the United States? What's the epitome of government bureaucratic, just complete fuckery?
The IRS.
No, okay. I was going to go with the DMV. Okay.
Oh.
But the DMV's fucking great. I just went there the other day to get my plates. I was in and out in 5 minutes. All right. They were like, at first they were like, "Oh, do you have your card?" I was like, "Yeah." "Do you have a credit card? You paying with credit card?" You're like, "Yeah." It was like, "Just go use the kiosk over there." I was like, "I can do that." And they're like, "Yeah, just go stick the thing in there and blah, blah, and then click this and here's your ticket." I was like, "Oh fuck." I was like, just thinking like my mom, like always, was like, "I gotta go to the DMV. I'm gonna be there for 8.5 hours. I better bring water and food."
But look, there are certain things that they have overhauled that are just at number one. It's like this. It used to be one of the 2 checks I wrote every year.
Yeah.
Right. You're like, oh my god. And the fact that they changed it, it's like, oh, here's my card. This is no problem. Yeah. The fact that anything that can be automated goes to here.
Yeah.
That takes people out of that line. So you go sit in this waiting area.
Yep.
You have either this ticket or this ticket.
Yep.
And whoever they're not calling you to a certain spot.
Whoever
it's just they know.
Yeah.
They're either going to call like B51 or C20.
And it's on the chart. You
Correct.
Correct. And here's the point behind that. You know why it works like that? Is because it's run by the state.
Right.
Okay, so why can't you have a state TSA that's in charge of like 5 airports? Whatever. Okay, and then if you have one of these little like Alamosa, okay, guess what? When you connect to DIA, you're not going. No. You don't get on the concourse. You get to go through their security at that point in time. Well, fine. Okay, problem solved. Rather than have TSA agents at airports that are in the middle of goddamn nowhere and have 2 fucking planes a month. Come on, bro.
As a somewhat frequent traveler of Williston.
You know what I'm talking about, man. So it's like the airline agents and the TSA could have like a basketball match.
Yeah.
And the TSA would actually be able to sub people in and out, throughout the entire game, man.
Dude, I would not be opposed to basically like giving someone like a dual, like a bonus where it's like, all right, you work for the airline, okay, but since there's 10 of you, all right, you're cross-trained.
Yeah.
You got like 5 of you can go do TSA stuff.
Yeah.
And kind of like the bonus stuff that we used to get where it's like shift diff or whatever. It's like, oh, well, I'm on TSA, so I get...
Well, I wouldn't do that in a big airport.
No, in a small place.
No, I would just make them go through DI's security.
Oh,
so there's not even a fucking security. Dude, it's a plane. All right, then it's got like 5 fucking people on it.
Right.
Okay, I mean, you're more dangerous if you go on Greyhound, and they don't screen you there. So come on, man. So it's just this freaky thing that people have about like 9/11 and being on an airplane, not being able to do anything about it.
Right.
Okay, and we spend billions of dollars on things that we should spend money on, like missiles. So...
We gotta stop.
All right, man. I'm good. All right, I'm bad.
Jeffrey.
I'm hitting the button before rant begins.